under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First, we have this first meeting and is the notice of public hearing for proposed property tax levy. I'll open the public hearing. Is there any?
We do
Are you gonna
approve the agenda
Oh, we got to approve the agenda first, yeah.
and the minutes.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Next, we need is approval of the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes. I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary? Motion carried. Okay. All right, so now at this point, we will open the public hearing. And is there any written comments, Courtney?
I've received no written comments.
Do you want to explain this form a little bit first?
Sure.
Then we'll ask for,
So technically today, we're here to talk about the tax dollars that are general services, supplemental, debt service, and rural service. This, everybody should have gotten a notice recently, talks about when our hearings are, but it leaves off the debt service and the supplemental, so it's not a true picture. So today we are talking about the proposed dollars that we are going to levy in fiscal year 27. So for the requested tax dollars, countywide rates, except debt service, it's $6,153,039. Last year was $6,523,175. So there's a reduction there in the countywide rates. And then if you move down to the rural services, we are requesting $3,635,193. Last year was $3,081,035. That is an increase. We were not limited in that fund, but the supervisors did choose to lower that, I believe, $200,000 from what we could have asked for, to kind of give a little bit of a break. So we weren't asking for more than what we needed. It does make the urban rate for next year 3.89887, rural rate 7.64589. Key takeaway here is that countywide, everybody's going to see a reduction in their taxes. The rural is up a little bit, but it's kind of offset by the reduction on the countywide levy. Does anybody have more specific questions?
okay, any comments from those in attendance? Please state your name.
Just want to give you all thought. I'm in here. But I came out of my very busy day to give you all thought. I give you a lot of static during the year. And I'm an equal opportunity taxpayer. Bigger. But I just sincerely wanted to thank you. I think you did I don't agree with every line item. I don't think you expect me to, but I think overall your total body of work is to be commended. And I just want to thank you perhaps on behalf of the Beardmore household, but I think I'm speaking for a lot of taxpayers. I generally do. And I just want to thank you, particularly what you did with the supplemental levy by applying all of that local option sales tax to it. Forgive me, I missed that last year. And this is the second year in which you've done it. But that is genuine tax relief. That is, it's not what other taxing authorities seem to claim as tax relief, but when you cut the levy directly, like you did there, that is direct property tax relief for your taxpayers. And I just want to thank you. And also for freezing your salaries again this year too. I think that's to be commended as well. So with that, I'm just gonna say thanks. And that's
Thanks for your comment.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh, I guess I did hear one comment. It wasn't a written comment, but it was, when those notices went out to everybody, we have a lot of calls because people don't quite understand them, but the few people that I did talk to were very appreciative of the Board of Supervisors, because if you look at that notice, the county was the only one that had a reduction. The other two were increases, so they were thankful for that.
I've heard a lot of comments that way also, and I thank you for your comments, Mark. So, okay, is there any other comments? If not, huh?
I'll make.
Okay,
I just want to thank the board and all the department heads and elected officials for taking all the time that it took to get us to this point and do a reduction. And it takes conservative and wanting to spend taxpayer dollars. So everybody's sitting at this board right now. And thank you for all the hard work and dedication.
well, I agree with you. I think it's always been a process every year, and I think that we always try to do Carroll County here has always tried to do the best. If you look at our record, we've always been pretty well down the bottom of the list of tax asking, so we can continue to keep trying to do that.
There's only 13 counties in the state with a lesser
Yes.
levy than what ours is.
And that's because of the debt service we have now, which I'm glad we did what we did when we did. But I think, we try to do, as I tell people, we pay taxes too, and I don't like to pay taxes any better than anybody else, but we only generate what we absolutely need. So thank you for those comments. With that, I'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion then we need to have a motion and approve this then?
No, in the next meeting, when we re-adjourn at 9:15, we'll be setting the public hearing for the actual budget. And that's kind of approving the original one.
Okay, then we're in order for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
It's been moved and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Now I'll switch agendas and we will open our next meeting. We can open it early, can't we?
Courtney
Courtney,
store on her right side.
Courtney, can we open it early?
Yeah, you don't want to do any action items, I don't think, until 9:15.
Okay. Well, what we could do is, let's open a meeting. We can have, Mr. Schwiers come up. So let's open the public or a regular meeting. And, you want to do roll call or you got it? Okay.
Oh, me too.
So Mr. Schwiers,
You're skipping ahead to item 4.
yeah. Well, this one needs no action.
We have to get back to work, right?
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning. Is this thing?
It's on.
No, it's on, Adam, but yeah, it's on. Good. Yeah, the red lights, yep, it's
Yeah,
on.
lights on.
Very good. I guess I want to start out, Adam Schwiers. I know pretty much everybody in the room, but, just wanted to, step out and, introduce myself now as the new executive director for Carroll County Growth Partnership and the Carroll Chamber. Been in the role now for, just about 4 weeks, was this last Friday. And, been trying to hit the ground running as quickly as I possibly can. As you're aware, Kimberly Tiefenthaler's last day will be the 31st of this month. So I've been working alongside of her, trying to make as many contacts with all of the different organizations and entities that we generally work with. And one of the initiatives that I'm excited about, something that I'm working on currently, and I want to share this just with you. This is my first document that I'm creating, but this is a working document and it hasn't been totally completed. But I thought I would bring this along and just share it with y'all.
Thank you.
So that you have something. Here's my business card.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Thank you.
Adam. Thank you.
So what you're looking at right now is something that I've been kind of passionate about, in my, previous work. Working on grants and rehabilitating buildings here in town. I have, kind of trailblazed for this area on workforce housing tax credits, as well as, historical building renovation tax credits. And I oftentimes have gotten then, questions from people on how to do that, or, you know, what is that, or how did you even hear about it, or what have you. And, you know, people just don't know what they don't know. And so the more I noodled on it, I really came to the conclusion, if I could put together at least a decent summary of all of the different programs that might be available to businesses for startup, businesses for expansion, businesses for succession planning. You know, whether it's red light grants, revolving loan funds, historical estate tax credits, workforce housing tax credits. There is a plethora of things that we can do to help those businesses in our area. And so I've kind of called it the economic development playbook, if you will. And as I said, I've just kind of gotten started on this over the last couple of weeks. And so there's probably more to come with this, but I wanted to provide something that kind of provided a lot of summary information. One of the things that folks don't always realize is it's the time it takes to apply for some of these things and how to move through those. And I'm just going to give one example. So when I've taken advantage of workforce housing tax credits for rehabilitation of buildings here in town, the applications for those have to be applied for in the spring of the year, April, May. They finally are awarded by the state in June. Or actually the closing of the application is generally in June. They have a meeting somewhere in the summertime. And then you could be awarded generally around August of the year. Something people don't realize, however, is that you can't start work on the project until after you're formally awarded and you get your letter of acknowledgement. So if you purchase a property, say for instance, in May of the year, as I've done in the past, and you miss that window for workforce housing tax credits, but you still believe that that's going to really be important to your business plan, kind of have to wait until the next round comes around, apply for it, and then get awarded. So sometimes you could purchase a property with all the great intent to start moving forward, but if you want to take advantage of those credits and be able to integrate that into your business plan, you might have to sit on that property for 18 months before you can even start, depending upon when you purchase a building. Now, granted, if you purchase a building in November of a year and you can apply in May, June and get awarded in August, now you're only sitting on it for about 8 or 9 months. But too often times I worry that people are like, they buy the building, they start gutting it, they start in on the project, and then they come to us and say, hey, what can you do for me? And we're like, well, you're a little too far down the road now for us to be able to bring in some of these tools. So it's my hope that with this, I can continue to fine tune the document and provide a lot of input. And then I'd love to be able to circle back at some point and maybe just kind of do a workshop, if you will. Be happy to do that. I've been meeting with IEDA, I've been meeting with the Raccoon Valley Electric Cooperative. Of course, we've got the city, CCGP has grants. Those are quite well known, easy partners that are right here local. Certainly I've talked to Dawn down in Manning about their programs. I meet with Katie this Friday in Coon Rapids about their programs, as well as doing some business retention and expansion visits, as well as talking to some high schoolers at that high school level. So really trying to get out. One of the next things as well is for me to get out into all of our cities throughout the county and do a similar presentation, because I think that there's a lot of our communities that, you know, just like I said, don't know what they don't know. And I think if we could provide them a little bit of a playbook, if they've got people in their community that are passionate about trying to locate a business to town, or maybe they've got an old building that they just don't know what to do with, but they have some pretty good stakeholders in the community that would step up if they could have some guidance on a project. I'm hoping that I can then step into those meetings, help people kind of talk through what, vision for what could be there. And then start to look at any programs that might be able to soften the business plan so that those local community partners can really come to a conclusion on, yeah, we think that this could be possible. So really hoping that this is kind of a springboard towards more empowerment of our local elected officials and just our communities as a whole throughout the county. Because in this day and age of 6.5% and 7% interest, a little bit of assistance can go a really long way in making sure that not only a person's able to accomplish a project, but that they have more sustainability within their business plan. Because too often times, you can get that splash at the very beginning of a project to try to kick it off. But you also need to try to save as much powder as you can, because you never know what could happen in the peaks and valleys of economics and within the business plan. You can have a down year early in your business plan that you weren't really prepared for. So if we can soften that business plan out front, provide you a little bit more of a runway to get off the ground for a couple, 3 years. I think these programs are here for us and they're meant to do that. Most of these programs too are not really a hand out. A lot of these programs are really just a hand up. Many times you're going to see 0% interest or 1 to 3% interest, but it's better than 6 or 7% interest. All of our local banks are going to be great to work with, but sometimes these things can soften a little bit of your borrowing capacity, bring that interest rate down a little bit, make your monthly payments a little bit more palatable, and then be able to allow you to hold some cash back and not have to dip into lines of credit, things of that nature to make payrolls when you have those dips and valleys. So that's one of the most exciting things that I'm trying to work on right now. I have had some really positive meetings with some of our commercial developers already here, but I've also done a business retention and expansion visit with one of our large egg providers, and I'm actually working with them, made the introductions for them to possibly qualify for a significant grant towards their project at a 0% interest rate over 10 years. So I'm hoping that if they were a little bit further along, once again, in their process, I think that their expansion is going to be a foregone conclusion. But at the same time, now I've made those introductions. Now that business is aware, they're a business that's going to be in Carroll County for another 100 years. So they're going to certainly have projects in the future. And so if this project that they're taking on right now possibly doesn't end up making it through, I know that they're going to have other projects in the future, and it's really about making those introductions and then really kind of kicking off that dialogue. So that's been pretty exciting. Have met with a new or an existing business that's looking to kind of expand and do a formal business plan, if you will, kind of taking that hobby business to the next level based on Coon Rapids. So I'm working on that right now through Hub 712. Have also had some really good conversations with somebody who is actually working with Iowa State on a new marketed food-based product. So they're working with Iowa State Labs right now, going through all of the sampling of the product that they're wanting to go to market with. And we're cautiously optimistic that eventually we're going to get them to a point where quite possibly they'll be looking to go into some light production. And then we can start talking about the Hy-Vees of the world, through the Fairways of the world, possibly taking up their product line. So a lot of exciting things have happened, I guess, over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Also had really good meetings in Washington, D.C. Last week I was out there. We ended up with a small but mighty group of 5. 3 of our members were not able to, 2 of our members definitely didn't make it due to the blizzard. And we had a couple that ended up with conflicts. But the 5 of us were able to have some good meetings with departments. And a lot of the time people think, well, you're going out there to meet with the legislators, but they're oftentimes back here. really it's those department meetings, that really can kind of get you in contact with the staffers that you need to talk to. And, I think we came away with some really good information, some very good contacts, that are actually going to be able to help some of our businesses. And so as I get some updates, on how all of that turns out over the next couple months, I will be reaching back out to let you guys know. I did provide my business card too. I want you to reach out to me on any questions that you have. If you've got questions about CCGP as a whole, or if you've got people that you want to put in contact with me, you think maybe that we can help them through the Hub 712 level or through the economic development level on the county side, please let me in. I would love to have the conversation. I really want to be a resource and I really want to be a partner. With that, that's really all I came here today with. In the future, as I kind of fine tune this document, if you've got a pretty light meeting or something and you'd like to really kind of go through this, and we could kind of talk about some examples and back and forth, I'd be happy to come out and do that. The rest of the time, you'll probably be hearing from other city councils that I've been out and started talking to them as well. That's really a big goal of mine. And we're going to continue our business retention and expansion visits, because really those are the where the rubber meets the road. You know, when you can get in front of any one of our businesses throughout the whole county and start learning about what their needs are, what their future plans are. Sometimes I'm able to come in with some suggestions or another partner or what have you, and I really hope to be able to provide a lot of value to people as we move forward. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Sounds like you hit the ground running. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
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 Thank
Been
you.
fast and
Thank you.
furious.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're counting down the days. You know, Kimberly's here this week with me, and we've got 2 days next week, and then I guess it's gonna be on me to start moving forward. We jokingly said I'm gonna give her an ankle bracelet at our going away party on Friday, just so she doesn't go very far, but I think we'll be just fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very
Awesome.
much for the
Thank you.
update.
Thank you.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Guys, appreciate it.
Get 2 more batteries.
Okay,
Please.
Thank you.
let's go ahead with the regular agenda. We'll go to 9:15, a public hearing on L&N Pork LLC construction permit.
Mine too.
And then we'll open that up, that hearing. Is there been any written comments, Courtney?
I have received none.
You have received none.
Correct.
Okay, is there any oral from the public? If not, this is a permit that is an existing building that they're expanding. Everything meets the requirements, what there has been put out before, so.
They're adding 360 and
Yeah, 360, they're going from different size pigs.
it's on 230th. East
Yeah.
Mountain.
It made the matrix, past the matrix, so that's it.
Yep. Any other comments, questions? If not, I will close the public hearing. And then we will go to the next item is the authorized chair to sign the master matrix scoring and recommendation letter.
So moved.
Been
Second,
moved. Is there a second?
second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Okay, I just got out of my whole pan here. Okay, next is secondary roads. Zach,
Morning, Zach.
Zach didn't come on.
you have a contract for us today.
This is on down here.
Okay, all right. There's the red light on it.
Yes, this is the other project that we let here a few weeks ago. And this is our bridge replacement project on Sycamore. A21 is our local numbering for that bridge. Replacing that bridge with a reinforced concrete box. Very identical to the box we put in on that road, just half mile down the road, so less than that. So this contract's with Peterson Contractors Incorporated out of Rhinebeck. We have worked with them before. They're the ones that did a small box kind of leading towards Dixon Timber here a few years ago. So bond and the contract look to be in order. I don't know if there's any questions on this project.
Did they give you any idea when they're gonna start, or you can't negotiate till after
Can't
we
can't
sign
really
that?
talk to this. My guess is it'll be a little while because they have to build the box, so the first thing that has to happen is they have to get shop drawings and box has to get built, so. it'll
They
be
do have
above
on
a
this
couple
contract,
months.
late starting date is August 17th.
Do you ever have the boxes built yourself? Through like Lakeview or places that do them?
Lakeview
And then-
doesn't do it anymore.
Okay.
They do it. There's 4 or 5 vendors that will do it, probably 4, I guess, that I
Yep.
know of. I have not, generally just had them do it, because then they can pick the vendor that they want. I don't know if we would get better pricing or worse pricing from what a contractor would. But it's all about them lining up delivery and everything else as well, because that's a big part
Are
of it.
you
is getting it-
saying
getting it
build
there.
one just for Pacific or have them on hand?
No, not on hand. There's no reason
I
to.
was gonna say,
I'm
because
saying like this, so
because
there's
they
the-
all vary a little
Yeah,
degree of
100%,
angle
yes.
or whatever, yeah.
I just wondering if could you save 30% on it? I don't know. I've never asked that question. Just,
What the markup is.
it's gotta be unreal.
In the past, there may have been some savings, but there is one contractor that builds their own.
Yeah.
So you would kind of cut them out a little bit
Yeah.
too, if you're doing that. So, they're the ones that did the last 2 boxes last summer. They actually built their own. So I guess there maybe would be a con there from that standpoint, but,
It's just conversation. I
Mhm.
just was.
Why did Lakeview quit making them?
I think they're just streamlining their operations. They build pipe up in Lakeview now only. They don't build boxes there. They used to build multiple things up there, and now I think they build only pipe.
Because that was always kind of handy.
I think you're right. It's all pipe there.
It was nice that they would do different
They
things. I
got rid of
mean,
the pipe and added pizza, so that's what Lakeview's doing now.
Oh, that's what they did. It's that pizza moved in there. Okay, enough of the jokes. Okay, so is there any other questions on the contract and bond?
I'll make a motion for Peterson Construction out of Rhinebeck, Iowa, for the box culvert on Sycamore south of 130th for $160,507.
That's considered approval of the signature authorization. Okay, there's been a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Okay,
that's all I had for that. Just a quick update. As far as I know, the contractor will be starting tomorrow on N14 with the diamond grinding. So
Thanks for sending out text my gut.
Yeah, couple things for you. When you purchase fuel, which is gonna be next on payables.
Mhm.
Do you, I mean, this pay period, we're paying 26,105.95 to community oil. Do you get a bid from everybody every time?
yep.
Okay.
There's certain people that don't bid gas or can't get a bid a certain time, but we generally reach out to 3 local vendors.
That's what I wondered, because this fuel deal's getting,
3 weeks ago, nobody had fuel when they
Well,
started out.
And that's the other thing, as far as diesel goes, getting number 1 has been a challenge sometimes.
Yep.
And we always have a certain blend that we get. So sometimes a certain vendor can get number 1, depending on where they're pulling out of. So sometimes we get 3 bids, some time we get 1 bid, but Paul inquires every time, so.
yeah.
So when the school bus barn gets their fuel
Mhm.
running, will that ease the burdens, or will you have an empty tank then? Don't they have their own?
They have their
specific
own tank down at the depot. It won't change what we do for our fuel system in their shop. And we'll still need diesel down at the depot. It just won't be as much because the school won't be pulling off of it. The school has some gas buses, I believe, too, but,
Because that's supposed to be up and going, I think, by June is what, I don't know if that's correct.
I heard this summer is what I heard too.
For their new fuel depot there. you
Yeah,
mean? Yeah.
the above ground, but
Yep. Yeah, I just, as fuel creeps up to $5, it costs $1 a mile to run then, so it's just gonna be. It is very conscious of where we're sending guys and stuff, you'll burn up fuel in no time. So,
anything else?
you know, have you talked, yet Saturday I was up in Breda and saw the ice skating rink has melted. And they said next month, they think the contractor is gonna come back. Have they been talking to you about that water line?
I haven't heard anything. I know Chris was the point of contact they had. I haven't heard anything. I think he would have said something to me, but I know the city council was gonna talk about it and talk with their engineer. I haven't heard what their plan going forward was.
Supposedly, yeah, the contractor's coming back. They're hopefully gonna fix it in April.
Okay, that'd be great.
I did, have some conversations with Zach and, in regard to the Wheatland corner up there, it's very rough. And a constituent of ours. And I did talk to him Friday and he's very appreciative of what we're gonna do. And so he's willing to wait. So Zach is gonna try to find somebody to put a overlay in that through that whole intersection. Cause it's rutted through there and you go through there with a semi, they tell me, you about shake your teeth out.
Yeah.
About lose it, so. And I had to drive through with a different vehicle to finally feel it, so. And I will, tell you, I did have a lot of several comments made to me about that text gov. Since you put that out about that, Friday at the fish fry, I got quite a few comments, so it's good. Thank you.
I do love that too. I am getting multiples on that, so I don't know if it's charging us for. Like I get it, boom, boom, same message twice.
I think that's anytime you get texted, well, no,
Well,
those
I
ding
only get
twice, but
singular, but yeah.
I just.
No, I'm getting
People are
duplicate.
Getting that if it's charging,
I'm getting
because we
duplicate
only get so
too.
many text messages,
We
you know,
need to talk to Paul.
Yeah.
I only got one.
Yeah, I only had one, but
mine sends it.
I got the 511.
You
message.
probably, you know, you're.
Yeah, you're on that list. I don't know if I can add other people to that list if you'd like to be on it, but
I like it because it says railroad crossings too.
I like that, how it ties back to Google Maps. It ties back to the Iowa 511 and it gives maps. I like the total package of what that gives you as far as showing what's going on for construction.
But by doing both, we're making sure we're covering the public, I think. So, I mean, it's not everybody's into the other stuff, so they have to sign up for that, right? Yeah, so, okay. All right, anything else?
That's all I got.
That shark's proud today.
Try to.
Thank you. All right, next we have, consider payables. We have payables of $298,739.82. But you're gonna have.
I was gonna say there's one under conservation that I'd like more explanation on, $280.
I'd like to ask the same question to Jason too about propane there. I mean, has he been that out?
Exactly.
Some of these people get so.
They get used to the same person.
Yes, and that's
Yeah.
it's not right. When it comes to county money.
And then under, I'm gonna meet today with Chad Jensen and Val Holsworth out at New Opportunities. Under general assistance, we're paying a lot of rents.
Yeah.
And I think Courtney said, we are gonna have to add some money to that line. General assistance is about bankrupt, Courtney, on our part.
No,
Just on rental, right?
just on the rent. Just
So
on.
I've
the
got,
rent.
I'm gonna try to figure out, I mean, I've got the copies.
Have
of
you
the
called
ones here.
Chad? Or are you gonna
Do what?
have you called Chad or you're?
Yeah, no, I've already talked to him.
I have talked.
I will-
He got a hold of me.
At
And
1
I-
o'clock, I'm going
I
out
think what
there.
I would suggest is that we leave the general assistance as is right now instead of doing a budget amendment. And I think what we need to do is look at that ordinance and put some teeth in there as far as the length of time they have to be a citizen of Carroll County.
I've got that.
Because
printed
this
out.
one outfit has got people coming in and then up trying to get it right away. And that I don't think is fair to the taxpayers.
Well, 2 of these are for a house on, Crestview.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna follow up on that. But those are the only ones I had concerns on and that one under conservation might be fine, but Jason was out on, first they submitted it without any detail and then the detail came, which raised more questions, so.
No,
So the only one you want pulled is that one with conservation.
It's like it's a first line item in
280.
conservation.
Yep.
Out of Hy-Vee there. Are these court administration, are those county appointed attorneys on those? A couple of ones, $2,250 and one's $1,440.
What page are you on?
It's page 5.
Bruner,
Yeah.
we're ordered by, the way my understanding is we're ordered by a judge. A judge signs
It's
off.
it's
on it.
We're pointing the, point of attorney, right?
Those
I would
add up.
assume-
So does JV.
Those add up.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
$300 an hour.
Yes, that's why I was curious what those were.
And then I had a question on which,
And then I had one more on the juvenile beds. That's quite a bit of money this month also.
We have been very high lately.
Might want to hold on tight to that.
Hold on tight for that.
Yeah, I think, well, if with these, what I was up there Friday, this will take care of what we have. But I think there's some that were this last two were for an outfit out of Ames. And I think what happens, we get full of beds. We're only allowed one bed, so we have to move one out sometimes. So I think that's what's going on.
I mean, it goes 10 grand this month. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
that, and Mark and Maggie, you're in here now, but what about the advertising for that opioid fund? There was almost 17,000 radio. What was that all for?
That was, we're putting out ads.
The sheriff, the
We
county
got,
attorney.
Jamie Whipker's got one, sheriff's got one, Jerry Fleshner's got one for the mayor. We're putting out opioid ads, just a way to spend the money.
And how long are you gonna run that and how much more?
6 months.
His salary.
You didn't hear that. Okay. So my understanding is we're gonna approve the claims except for the
Yeah.
$280.
It comes up to $298,459.82. I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Any other discussions?
Mike, do you want to follow up on that one or do you want? me to-
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Okay, next we have is consider a plat for Ben Tigas in Pleasant Valley, section 21. This is actually, I
Renee,
think,
can you show us where that is, please?
Right north of Willie there.
right north of Willie.
Good job. Look at you.
Yeah, look at me go.
So that,
Broken out like by northeast. It's in this general area somewhere.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could you bring a dry erase marker down? so
There's
that
one. I've got one right there.
Next meeting we can go.
Point,
on.
it's pointer.
I stole that from your shop, Steph.
You need
Yeah,
a
you
pointer,
did.
red pointer.
Vanna. It's her new
I
name.
want one of those red pointers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
How about if I have a laser from over here?
laser beam.
No, I don't like that. I can't.
you'd be, that would be cool.
okay, this is actually, I think is a retracement. So,
I didn't see anything wrong with what I looked
so
at.
anyway,
Go ahead and make a motion to
I'll s-
approve the plat for Ben Tigas.
Second that.
okay, it's been moved in second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Okay, next we have is authorized chair to assign satisfaction of a forgivable loan for down payment assistance for a program that's $14,816.
I think these are awesome. This is the fourth one in a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
of weeks that
I didn't know about this program. That is
the
not.
first time home buyers, I
Yeah.
think you have to live there 5 years, isn't it, Gene?
Yeah.
We had one that had to pay Region 12 back who didn't stay long enough, but. Yeah, I'll make a motion for the chair to sign $14,816 in the forgivable.
I'll second it.
Been moved in second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Next we have is consider approval for a 4RS Tavern Incorporated in Roselle for a Class C retail alcohol license, and I think that also includes outdoor sales they had listed on there. Any comments on that?
I'll make a motion to renew it.
Probably. I'll second that one also.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Next we have is consider appointment of Board of Health alternate member. Maggie, you're up here. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a question.
And I'll compliment you when he's done asking you a question.
Well, you're gonna take a seat after me. So anyway, on this Board of Health, is it, some of the boards we have, we are allowed to have an alternate if someone can't make it?
So it's a public meeting, so you could send whoever you want, but only appointeds can vote.
Okay, so you can't appoint an alternate then?
You can appoint an
Not a
additional
voting.
member as long
Like,
as we
like when I'm up at Cherokee, Yes Center, Stephanie's my alternate, so if I'm not there, she can vote in my place.
Okay. I asked our regional health consultant, she has never heard of anybody having an alternate. It's just you're appointed or you're not. So you can appoint two Board of Supervisors members and one will always go. Both can come if they want.
Would they both
Um,
be able to vote then?
Yes. Mhm.
Wow.
As long as we have our, it's Iowa chapter 137 is for local boards of health. We have to have at least 5 members. There's no rule even saying we have to have a supervisor on there. I think historically there was supposed to be a supervisor, but that code has since changed. As long as,
Leave the duties.
well, I still need him because he's my 5th. So I still need him because I have to have 5.
But
Um,
if we would appoint Scott, let's say, to be on the Board of Health,
Mhm.
and if Mike couldn't make it, then he could sit there and vote too?
Yeah, he just has to be appointed. It
Okay,
can't
that's,
be
that
a
was my question.
delegate or a,
I don't
yeah.
want to have 2 of us there. I just was
Yeah.
wondering if someone can't
You
make it.
don't?
No, I didn't think we did.
Yeah.
Well, the
And-
reason I brought it up just because if there's a conflict with the current member
Mhm.
now, one of us can attend, but we can't
Absolutely.
vote. So I
Yep.
would like to have the,
Yeah.
not the teeth or authority, the authority to be able to vote.
I just have to have 5 members and one of them has to be
It's like-
a provider, MD,
Yep.
DO, PA, nurse
But we could
practitioner.
call it an alternate.
You can, as long as they're appointed.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But, yeah.
So that
Yeah.
ends.
So like, okay, I missed last meeting.
Mhm.
And then you guys rescheduled for your next one and I won't be here that day.
Okay,
So that's what you, then you're like,
Well, and then
Yeah.
Mark's been so involved with the opioid thing. I
Yeah.
think he would be a good alternate, even though we would not call him alternate technically.
Mhm.
But I think if we were to appoint 2 board members, and then they could work it out amongst themselves, but
makes no
I think we
difference
need
to me.
representation.
Well, I think we
Just
could leave
you know.
one as a primary and the other one as an alternate or something like
Yeah.
that.
Pretty big shoes to fill, though, if I can do that.
Well, Mike right now is my secretary, so he has to be the one to sign the minutes. So if you appoint somebody else, they can't sign the minutes. He's still my secretary. And as long as I have a quorum that doesn't include any conflicts of interest, it's fine.
for 9 more months.
You get to sign my minutes for
Yeah,
9 more months. You look
Okay,
at that.
that answers my question. Does anybody else got any comments? First of all, I want to thank yous for the speaker.
Yeah, he was
I did
great.
go to the Manning, well, you were there
Yeah.
too. I was very impressed and I have heard a lot of comments on it too.
Me too.
Good.
A lot.
Same, lot, all positive.
I think
Yeah.
the Board of Supervisors got the kudos, but people don't realize there's an opioid committee underneath
yes.
us, which you 2 are very involved with.
Yeah, everyone was texting us saying thank you to us and it really wasn't.
Yeah, it
us.
wasn't for us.
Yeah.
You signed the check.
It looked good though, you know what I mean?
I went to 2 of them and
Good, yeah.
I could listen. Yeah, it was good.
From what he said his whole spiel, and then at the end, he said, if anybody has any questions, his DMs on Instagram are always open. He said after that first day, he had 30 kids reach out to him privately on Instagram, just asking about different mental health struggles,
No.
saying
way.
thank you. It was
He was
really
autographing
cool.
a kid's skateboard. The kid asked the super or principal, can I run out to my truck and get a skateboard?
Yeah.
Over in Glidden. But there was a line in Glidden
Yeah.
for autographs.
And-
In Manning, I was impressed. The kids were standing around and they were
Mhm.
talking and taking photos and
Yep.
getting stuff signed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she said
he
that's a-
stayed as long as he could to answer questions. Kemper had an extra hour's worth of questions that they
Yeah.
let the students ask after the presentation. It was really great.
That's actually the part he liked the best, was answering the
Mhm.
questions.
Really?
Yes, he did. He said that, made that public.
Yeah.
And they listened to him because the questions they asked were like, did you ever apologize to that lady? You held the gun up to her
Yeah,
head or whatever. It was like,
absolutely.
so, but yeah, and the nobody moved. Everybody was
Yeah.
frozen in
Yeah.
the audience the whole
And
time. And
Coon,
he
they
doesn't
said-
stand at a podium. He was working the crowd.
Yeah. And Kuhn, one of the teachers came up and said, oh, I've been teaching here for 30 years. I've never seen the auditorium that quiet and the students that engaged for an entire hour. So, yeah,
was
it
worth
was
it.
really great.
It was worth it.
Yeah,
every-
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, I,
Definitely
that's
worth it.
kind of the reason I went and they see if it was getting our money's worth and I am very very impressed.
Is it?
I'll make a motion that we
Please.
appoint
Hmm?
Mark McCray as the Board of Health. As a second Board of Health.
In the absence of Mike. I will second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain. Thank you.
Thanks, Meg.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thanks, Maggie.
Okay. Next is to set the public hearing for fiscal year Carroll County fiscal year 27 Carroll County budget.
Kind of touched on this earlier. Does anybody have any questions about the budget?
I see we added, changed the ambulance budget, or not the ambulance, but the IT.
IT.
Correct. Yeah, it was about, I believe around $77,000, yeah, in additional expense.
Anybody have any questions?
Courtney needs to tell us what date you're looking for.
Okay, I am looking at April 13th at 9 AM.
April 13th at 9 AM.
I would make a motion to that effect.
I will second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to set the public hearing for fiscal year 27 Carroll County budget for April 13th at 9 AM. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Okay, next we have is this consider early voting location and setup in the courthouse. Anybody want to take a lead on this?
I think, Court, I think you've got it worked out. It sounds like we've got,
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as the board's okay with the additional expense of doing that.
What are we doing?
So, was able to find some tables from Stones that are very similar to the media table we have here, for $100 a piece for 3 of them, or $100 each, so $300 expense. They'll work nicely underneath the counter. We do need to change up 2 of the windows up there to make it a little bit bigger so we can fit an iPad through there. But I think we can make it work. Might be a little congested, but I think we can make it work with those tables and
And I like your idea of moving that one window cutout over too.
yeah, we have to, if there's an expense to do that, we might as well.
But you know
move
what,
it
like you
over just a
said,
little bit.
Now and move it to the other window.
No, we have to take 2 of the panels out and have them cut the hole on the bottom
Yep.
a little bit taller.
Did you get a cost on that?
he said, 4 weeks lead time and roughly 1,000 a piece. They can't redo anything with the ones we have because they're tempered, so those will be trashed. But to get the new ones, Courtney can get with him and say where she wants the window, how tall. They'll come measure it.
Could we take one of those and put it on the west side?
If she wants to be able,
Down the
to-
hole?
if she wants it to be a transaction counter.
No, I don't.
Okay.
No.
I know you talked about that one time with the.
That was, they were gonna cut 2 holes in it at one time where you get your ballot one place, hand it back in the other.
If the single
found-
panels are
He's
$1,000
kind of got,
a piece, that glass on the west side's a lot bigger. So I'm assuming it'd
Oh.
probably be more money.
Oh, I guess.
Do we save that panel though?
I think if they remove them without them breaking, I think we hold on to those 2 because they'll
You might need
work.
them in
Yeah.
this office down here.
They could work, if somebody
Yeah.
had something happen to one of them, they should.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they'll come out unbroken, but if
Well,
they
I think
are.
we've got
they could-
storage, safe storage for them.
Yeah, yeah.
and
and-
the other thing in her defense that, since those glasses were put in, they've come out with these iPads now. And so if we'd have known that when we put that in, we could have had it cut at that time, but this is something new,
bit, yeah.
so.
I just think it's important that we make it tall enough to fit it easily, but not too tall that somebody could climb in there after hours. So,
But I mean, as changes happen.
We have to
could-
change you have
Yeah.
to adjust, so.
Are we gonna buy some kind of partition across there, like a rope or something we're talking about, or
I think
barrier?
if he doesn't want anything in the hallway.
barrier.
it's-
I want to see how it works. I think if you're busy, it might be kind of nice to have kind of a roped off area, so people don't get in line there
Yep.
thinking they're
Yep.
getting their tags on their car.
Yep.
We had a lot of those when we had a big election, and I don't blame them.
Do we need to?
They
do
waited
some-
in line for 10, 15 minutes and then we're in the wrong line and we're upset.
Oh, yeah, I would-
I
Do we
understand
need to
that.
do something? Okay, I like the TVs for signage that say people don't read them, but do we need to somehow cut down on the unneeded window traffic that comes to your window and you guys direct them and say the treasurer's office has moved down the hall?
Yeah, I mean, other
We
than
need some
additional
directive for
signing.
Those busy days.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, I know that I spend a lot of time up there and
Well, I was
they,
gonna say,
people coming all the time and when they got a title. in
if
their hand,
if
they're not
there's a
gonna see
real
you.
busy day and if it's that busy, of course, it's gonna come. If I'm free, I'd be willing to stand up and say, hey, you go down this way, that way,
Could be the
That's what
usher.
you
We need
need.
somebody capable though.
Okay.
We
that was-
appreciate all-
This
we-
is getting a little.
No, that's what I just didn't know what the qualification.
We would
We'll give you
appreciate
qualifications.
the help we could get on a busy day. Busy days can be upwards of close to 200 people a day, which is a lot of people in 7.5 hours.
I think we need a big sign on that side window that says vote. And then so people will see that when they come in. I mean, just get decals that you can put on.
Well, I believe one of the staff, I don't know, I can't remember which one it was, asked the other office, like, because we were always over there, like, how many people came over here to vote? And they didn't really have anybody because we had signs up.
Yeah.
So,
I noticed I've been up there, even not during election season, whether it be, have a signage company kind of figure out, like, hey, that's the auditor's office, that's treasurer's office, then down recorder's office and assessor's office. More visible than that sign.
I almost think
Well,
it
the
doesn't
teachers-
even
I'm
need,
thinking there should be something there that,
I don't even think it needs to say treasurer. I think it needs to say property taxes, motor
there
vehicle,
you go.
you know, because
Yes, yes.
a lot of times they don't know it's
Well,
a
I'm-
treasurer. They just know that's where they do their tags.
And we're
at.
coming up on exactly 2 years ago. You guys moved up there and people are still coming to their own.
They are.
I'm
they
up
are.
there and I'm not there that often, probably more than you guys want me up there, but anyway, there's always a couple of people that come and say, nope, you gotta go over there to this treasurer's office.
And, you know,
over there."
people, and I'm guilty of this too. I don't know how many times when we first moved up there that I came to work and went the other way. Because, you know, you do that for 15, whatever many years it was. Yeah, and when you only come up here once a year, or maybe twice a year to do business,
Yeah, you pay your taxes or getting your car plates or whatever.
So do you have a couple grand that is available in the courthouse?
there is some money that was budgeted out of local option to do some work downstairs. So we
I
could
don't think you
spend
need
out
a
of there.
motion for us to authorize you to buy the two.
No, think I would get your approval when the claims came in. But I did, tell Stones I would take those tables. Zach thought they'd be awesome to use just because of the way they storage, they're light, they roll. And then we may need to borrow that one if we're busy, so.
Thanks
Sorry,
for doing that,
Nathan.
Courtney, I appreciate that.
But it'd only be 20 days and then it'll be back.
You can sit up here, Zach.
Well, I will say that I know Scott and I think even Mark, we had pictures when stuff was set up. And everybody thought it was great. I showed it to Friday when I was up at Cherokee to some of the members up there when I was having lunch with them. And one said, man, that's extravagant. And I thought, whoa. But so I think from what the comments I got from other people, I think we're way ahead of the curve. So I think we're doing a good job. So.
You know, if we continue to get more and more people that vote early, you know, we'll see how November goes.
I would put in your budget also get one of those retractable things if you want to put it there to keep people from wandering through, people are voting and
Sure,
I
sure.
think you just will get one of those also. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, those I've seen are pretty inexpensive.
They're and retractable, so you just really hook it up and take it down a ways.
Yeah, I've seen ones that are like the old velvet ropes that they had. at
There
the
you go.
theater, But
We just have Zach go to the movie theater in the morning,
Tomorrow.
take him back in the
I
afternoon.
think we'll get the ones that you see at like Hy-Vee when they're doing work and they don't want you going in there, those kind of retractable.
Yep.
They're pretty
I think it's something
inexpensive.
we should get. Thanks for doing that.
Yep, no
All
problem.
right.
Appreciate it.
Okay, enough on that, I guess. So then we'll move on to committee reports. I can start. Wednesday, I did not get to the conference board because I had a funeral to attend. Thursday, I did go to Manning and listen to the opioid thing, and I talked about that earlier. I was very impressed with that. And then Thursday afternoon late, I picked up Scott and we went up to Mount Carmel and looked at the Smiths thing up there. And then Friday, I went to the Yes Center board meeting. Everything's going good up there. Of course, I think I told you this before. Our CEO is going to be retiring sometime probably around in August. Depends on how things work out.
CFO
No, our CEO.
is too.
No, this is up at Yes Center. Courtney, when you send them a check directly to pay them?
Or when we have people there,
Yeah.
yes. They email.
They said if you want to, there's a lot of people doing direct deposits anymore.
Yeah,
Oh,
we don't really like having multiple vendors having access to our accounts.
okay. that's
Even
fine.
when we initiate them, we try to limit that. And honestly, it would be up to the treasurer whether she would allow that. We do like payroll taxes and things like that where we're initiating it. But I mean, there's a whole system in Tyler set up that we could, do all of our bills ACH and would kind of eliminate the checks and the mailing, which there's some cost savings there, but we've kind of tried not to do that.
Okay, all right.
But not opposed to maybe having the discussion with maybe the treasurer
Is
as
the
well.
getting hacked, you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you're initiating the payment, but you're also putting your banking information out there. I don't know. I'm kind of old school. It makes
Yeah.
me nervous, but
Well,
I'm not
I don't-
opposed to it because there would be, if stamps go up to 99 cents.
Well, that's kind of why the conversation was brought up. So, if we have any interest, contact them. And
Okay.
if you don't, that's fine.
Yeah.
We did have a situation that happened up there. They had kind of a brawl. And of course, one of the staff got bit and, my God, that young lady must have had fangs, but she put a hole in her pretty good. So anyway, we did average 9.7 clients up there for the month, and as of Friday, there was 8. So I think enough said on that. I did have a discussion, Chad did call me in regards to the general assistance and this business that sent them in, and I talked about visiting with Kurt Swears and Zach on the Wheatland crossing or corner there, and also about TexGov and Mount Carmel. This week, Tuesday, I have CCGP, and after that, we're meeting with some people from Glidden in regard to some drainage. And then Tuesday night's the Farm Bureau annual meeting. And I also have Policy Council, which I will not be able to make that. And then Wednesday is Scott and I are doing the Chamber Leadership class. And Thursday, I have New Opportunity Board meeting. And then Friday, Farm Bureau has a deal with the Eichmanns down there. They're getting an award at Manning. I don't know the time on that yet. And then also Friday is Kimberly's retirement party. So that's my week and I'm sticking to it.
I'll go next. I gotta go back 2 weeks, so it might take me a minute. But last Monday morning, we all got a Iowa Public Information Board request from somebody. Remember that from Coon Rapids? Anyway, I talked to Kurt and he said, don't worry about anything. And I did do a follow-up from our Farm Bureau meeting. Sarah says we do tax mineral rights. I believe Twin Rivers is the company as far as the possible hydrogen. I also did a Farm Bureau follow-up on the Jade Avenue culvert. Went to the Carroll City Council. Tuesday was the March Executive Board meeting of Solid Waste Commission. Spent a bunch of time with Courtney that Tuesday on lost dollars, ran different scenarios on businesses and cities in the county. Courtney created a very nice spreadsheet on the distribution. I don't know if any of us know how that is dispersed, but it's complicated. But thank you, Courtney.
You're welcome.
I did more follow-up with Chris Whitaker and Rick Hunsinker on open meetings records. They have submitted a question to them and they haven't heard back yet. I registered for the National Guard leader event in Audubon on April 24th. I don't know if anybody else did that, but
I did.
yeah, I went to the last one that was here in Carroll a couple of years ago. It was nice. And then that Wednesday, I went down to ISAC, the Education Committee meeting for the fall conference. It's going to be leadership and community outreach. Thursday and Friday meetings were good down in Des Moines. It seemed like there was a heavy focus on NACO. Did you guys get the same vibe? Seemed like. Is anybody going to go to the Main Street Manning Awards on May 7th?
I'll be out.
I was thinking about doing that.
Okay, as long as somebody's going.
Yep.
I mean, I
Well-
might go too, but I didn't
Well,
know.
I was gonna suggest if there's more than one of us, go to one set with one table, one set with the other table.
Okay. Oh, because it'll be Coon Rapids and Manning. Okay. Then a week ago Sunday was blizzard weather, and I talked to Chris Olsey and Jeff Collin about the blizzard and talked to Dalton, and he sent out a text MyGov about the clouds starting at 5 a.m. last Monday morning. Monday, I drove to the Omaha airport, 5 delays and a flight cancellation. I was unable to attend Access DC with the rest of the group. Tuesday, I was here for,
No.
Tuesday, I was here for the active shooter drill. Wednesday, I did get a call back from Barry Anderson in Clay County. Gene, I think he left you a message too. about how they're spending some of their lost dollars. Also Wednesday was the conference board. We appointed a new farmer to the board to review, Aaron Jurgens. Wednesday, Tony Hoffman, went to him in Glidden. Thursday was secondary roads payables. Spent about an hour with Zach on the drainage that we're gonna meet on tomorrow at 1:15, trying to figure that out. And I did talk to Brooke, because part of that's in city limits. And then also Gene and I went up and met with a property owner in Mount Carmel. And then we looked at something Gene had never seen before, a wood box culvert.
Yeah, I did forget to tell that.
Yeah.
Well,
Friday-
I've seen wood box culverts, but not one like that.
Friday was courthouse payables. I did go to Chamber Coffee with McClure. And I sent some emails to ISAC legal counsel regarding how we process claims. This week, today at 11:30 is RSVP. I'm gonna go to new opportunities and try to understand or look at our guidance on how we pay general assistance rent. Also, city council tonight. Tomorrow at noon, CCGP. At 1:15, Gene and Brooke and I are meeting with Zach out at secondary roads. Then tomorrow night at Farm Bureau membership appreciation in Arcadia. Wednesday, there's a possible drill of some type here in the courthouse. I plan to attend. And at 11 o'clock, Gene and I are speaking to Carroll County leadership at New Hope. Thursday and Friday, the Iowa, it's called ISASWA, Iowa Society of Solid Waste Operations Spring Conference is at Carrollton this year, so I'll be attending that. I think there's like 40 some landfills that come to that. Friday is CCGP Director Kimberly Tiefenthaler's retirement party at Curbs. Saturday is the Legislative Forum at Western Iowa Networks. That was a lot, sorry.
I can go next. Last Monday, I attended the Carroll County Firemen's Association. They have a hazmat training. They're on anhydrous tanks. I'm part of the hazmat Region 5 committee. So Andy from Fort Dodge came down and talked to the firemen about safety and anhydrous leaks. Very interesting. And then Tuesday, I had the active shooter here at the courthouse, which I thought went very well. And then Wednesday through Friday, Maggie, Polly, and I took Tony Huffman to all the schools around the area. I thought it was very good. He was very, I think he cared. The guy cared about the kids. He really did. So I was really appreciative of the way he did it. He just seems like a nice, genuine guy. He had his trouble with the kid. And more or less his message was, it wasn't about don't use drugs. It was about what happens if you've got some mental illness and stress. I mean, when he was younger, just a little bit on it, his dad never came to any of his sporting events. He just loved it, and he never could figure out why. And if he would have probably asked his dad why, he would have found out, maybe not get in the situation he did. So I thought it's pretty good for young kids' mental health. If they're having issues, go talk to your counselor, talk to your parents, talk to an adult, and see if you can figure stuff out. So anyway, very well. This week, Tuesday, Farm Bureau meeting in Arcadia. Friday's Kimberly Tiefenthaler's retirement, and then legislative forum Saturday in Western Iowa Networks. That's all I have for this week.
You know, and Scott, you got radio and newspaper?
No, that would be the
So
chair's turn.
Courtney put on it, I got radio and newspaper this week too. Okay,
Guess we're up to me. Okay, last week, I had the newspaper radio, and then Tuesday I attended the active shooter. And Wednesday I did the conference board. I was via Zoom for the conference board. And then I did do an interview with Nathan Combs for the radio on NACO. And then I did receive a couple complaints about a couple signs, so I reached out to Zach Anderson, and he's going to take care of that. And then Ty Crawford also reached out to me, or Ty from Crawford, a supervisor, reached out to me about kind of some concerns he had about me being on NACO and on ISAC, and strongly encourages that you attend both and keep those state relationships and the national relationships. And then I also spoke with Platinum Fitness. That bill has been, the sheriff's department has filled that bill and paid the late fee, so we're all good and squared away, and he wanted to thank the board for their diligence on that. This upcoming week, I have Wesco today via Zoom at 12, and then Tuesday I will be at the Farm Bureau in Arcadia. And I think then I'll be down at state volleyball. That's it for me. And I'm gonna try and attend Kimberly's retirement party, but it just kind of depends on what time we leave Friday for state volleyball.
Huh?
Um,
What's your problem?
last week I had East-West Nation about, meeting on Wednesday, and this week I have nothing.
Hold up, I gotta go back. All right. Sorry, Courtney.
Information for Mulligan.
Yes, and then I also had Region 12 RDC meeting. We did approve a loan. I'll hand this around. It's not something you discuss publicly, but if you guys would like to see where we approved a loan for. Then we had our executive board meeting as well, and we had a presentation from Steve Gerds. He did our audit presentation. Nothing came up of that. If anybody wants to see the audit, we'll get the formal one, this next week will be presented, and then we'll bring that to the board as well. But I do have a tentative copy here. That's it.
I'll fill in for Gene. Courtney, next week.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
Jean, on your,
Okay,
on your committee reports, you said something about the chamber and I didn't get it written down.
we've got,
Upcoming this week. with the chamber.
CCGP Tuesday.
Okay, anything on the chamber training or,
Oh, yeah, chamber leadership class. That's Scott and I are doing.
thank you. Okay, next week.
Anything else for next week, Courtney?
I don't think I have anything. I did want to point out, my office will be closed tomorrow. We're going to be attending TTX training, which is election security training. It's my understanding Jeff Cullen will be there with us along with Dalton. It deals with like what to do if you have a security issue on election day. It involves your IT, it involves EMA. It's a required thing that we go to. It's in Storm Lake, so we'll be closed tomorrow, but be back open on Wednesday.
So the whole office be closed all day.
Yeah, we're all required to attend.
So you're gonna put that on text.
Dalton's gonna put it on our Facebook feed. I can certainly request that he put it on
I
text
think,
MyGov.
I think that'd be ideal.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments from those in attendance? If not, all those in favor, need a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Been moved in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Thank yous all.